So just briefly, for those of you in case you don't know or you've forgotten, the IVSS is the International Virtual Science Symposium. And so that happens every year in the spring. It's a chance for students to submit projects that contain GLOBE data or using GLOBE protocols. And we send those out to a panelist of judges, usually scientists or other GLOBE members, teachers, alumni, grad students, other community members. You don't have to be actually part of GLOBE to be able to participate in the judging, but a lot of people are. So this happens every spring, and so we're starting to plan it now. So 2021 is our next year. And so we're starting to get ready. And so this year, because of how the world is, basically, we are focusing on data science because one, not only is data science awesome, and it should be a focus, but we're specifically choosing it for this year because we just want to make sure that students are following all health guidelines, and we don't know if things are going to change at all over the next year. So we're not requiring students to enter new data this year. So that's the first time that's ever happened. Usually we do require GLOBE data be entered, but not this year. So students are still able to use archive data. They can use new data, and they're also always welcome to use other data sources as long as they also use GLOBE data sources. And so, like I said, you know, we review all these projects and we send them out to these professionals to provide feedback. And so it's a really great program. And this is our 8th year, I believe, doing it. So let me just go over now a little bit what's new. So last year we opened it up to different languages. So this is still sort of new, we're still figuring that out. So in addition to students being able to submit their projects in English, we're also accepting them in Spanish, French, Arabic, and Croatian. So this is awesome because those are some of our more popular languages of students, but this is also dependent on if we can get enough judges. So of course, as much as I wish I was bilingual, my Spanish levels are middle school at best. So as long as we can get enough judges to grade or to score these projects in these languages, then that's awesome. So if you happen to know anybody who might be interested in reading some really interesting projects, who are fluent in either Spanish, French, Arabic, or Croatian, encourage them to be an IVSS judge. So what else is new this year? We've got a student blog. So this is for students to, this is a blog written by students and for students. So we don't have any blog entries yet, but we've reached out to some of our students we know are really involved in GLOBE. Once again, if you happen to know anybody, send them our way. We're asking students to kind of share their experience so that other students can say, like, you know, I have questions about the IVSS, or what do I do? And they can learn about it from other students' perspectives. So we're looking for students to write about, you know, what they did, what they liked, what they would have done better, just lessons they've learned during the IVSS, and just tips for other students. It's really just a way for students to interact with other students. If you have any students in mind or know any teachers who might have some students, you know, certainly send them my way. So we're looking for students, like I said, how they learned from a mistake, what they would do differently, or meaningful experiences. So I mentioned also we've got the data science focus this year. So to support that data science focus, we've done a couple of additional webinars. So far, as I'm presenting, we've already had 2 webinars. And so we just had our general informational overview webinar, which just goes over, you know, broadly the whole IVSS. And then just this last Wednesday, we had Ksenia, who's my colleague here at the Global Implementation Office. She's a data scientist, so she did a a webinar about some intros to data science to get students thinking about that. And we had a Q&A. And then in 2 weeks, so on October 28th, we're going to do another webinar about mapping with ArcGIS and also using those maps in story maps. So that's coming up. All of these webinars are, the ones that we've already had are up on the website, and I'll show you that web address in a second. And the one that, of course, is coming up in a couple of weeks will also be added to the website. We've also had a number of other people suggest doing webinars, so we're really excited about that. And one final one that has been done already this year is about using campaigns as inspiration for your IVSS projects. So kind of integrating campaigns in the IVSS a little bit better. Also, what's new is we upgraded the rubrics. So this is really exciting. We've gotten a lot of feedback from scorers about, it's kind of hard to differentiate between a really high performing project and a, just okay performing project. So we've rewritten the rubrics to make that a little bit more clear, so that the scoring, it's really just those really high projects, really well done projects that are getting that highest score. And the reason they want this higher score is because if they'll be entered to win into like a random selection generator and win stipends, as well as be invited to the student experience at the Globe annual meeting. So last year, right around judging time, I created a resource about tips for judges to give feedback, and I found that to be really helpful. We saw a really, marked increase in valuable feedback for the students, and of course, this is really good for the students to really grow as scientists. And then I mentioned that student blog already. So everything is on, let me find our website. This is my slides for my informational webinar. So sorry, I'm going through these really quickly. Everything's here, globe.gov/science symposium. This is our website. Bookmark it, view it frequently. You'll find a lot of interesting stuff there. The webinars I've mentioned, links to the student blog, as well as a ton of resources. Some of them from Jen with the SRS. We've sort of cross-pollinated some resources there, as well as other things. And if you have any questions or ideas or anything like that, you're welcome to reach out to me. I'm going to put the IVSS website in the chat here, as well as the IVSS email. Or you can email me directly. Either one is fine. I talked really fast, I just realized. So I'm sorry if I talk too fast. Let's see, I see, Tracy, can you define data science in the context of the IVSS? Yeah, so what we do is every year we have, sorry, hope I don't make you guys dizzy. So every year there's these optional additional badges that students can learn. So in addition to writing their, oh, I'm not sharing anymore. That did make you dizzy. So in addition to writing a good report and getting feedback, students can opt in for these additional badges, and they're virtual badges that will show up on their school's MyPage account. And they're different skills students can explore that are skills as scientists. So we have, be a collaborator for students who are collaborating with each other, either in their school, collaborating with other schools, or STEM professionals, engineering skills, and then data science skills, which is our focus. And so this is going to be just sort of going above and beyond. So, you can make a graph about like air temperature versus time, but if you're really kind of exploring that, like noticing trends or referring to that data, or producing some sort of equation to explain that, or even just a really good graph and some sort of data analysis that shows that they're not only practicing these skills but grasping them. We found in the past that students if they do sort of do some sort of visualization of their data, it's a basic graph that's, something against time. And even if their question isn't related to time, we're finding that on the x-axis, like pretty much all the time. Sorry, I keep saying time, but this is just a way for students to sort of think about, okay, well, other than graphing points against time, even if that's not really what I'm studying, what else can we explore data science-wise? Other additional badges, just because I'm talking about them, for scientist skills, making an impact. So if your research really focuses on a local issue and you use your research to help your community. So maybe you find that a certain waterway is contaminated and you bring that up to your city council or something. I mean, that would be really incredible. Be a STEM professional for students who are exploring STEM careers and working with STEM professionals, as well as storytelling. So if you're presenting your research in an interesting way and really doing a good job of describing not only the results, but also the process, we like to encourage that as well. And so, are we doing any webinars on graph choice? So, good question, Tracy. The informational webinar that was filmed Wednesday on Q&A, we did have, Ksenia did talk about which types of graphs to use. So she talked about a scatter plot. I think she did scatter plots for both, but one was trends over time, and then one was comparing two different variables, and I forget what the two variables were, but so she talked about maybe when it would be appropriate to use different graphs. And then 2022 annual meeting, mum's the word on that, mostly because I have no words on that.
You mentioned the stipend to go to the student experience. That's not for 2021, right? That's for 2022?
That would be for, no, it would be for the 2021 meeting. So it's virtual this year. So the stipends, it won't be to attend, it will just be stipends for the teachers. And then in addition, they'll be invited to attend the meeting virtually. So thanks for the questions, Tracy. Other questions? All right, so yeah, like I said, I'll put the website and my email address in the chat here in just a sec. But thank you, and check out the webinar coming up on October 28th. And if you're interested in the previous ones, they're on the IVSS website.